I can't see you in the baggy jeans.
Ooh, I like this. But by the way, I never had a car.
One day there's this holy grail of happiness.
Nobody needs you anymore. In the end of the day, I'm a salesperson. I'm a bit like you.
They're just like, oh, I hate that, and that was terrible.
There's no need for this.
Welcome to the Dapper Dandy podcast. This is episode 1 with me, Ian Fielding-Calcutt, the founder of Fielding Nicholson tailoring. We are top 10 tailors in London, Zurich and New York. And today, episode 1, I'm here with my friend and client, Joachim Krinke. He is an ex-investment banker and currently trained to be a gastronomic chef. So we're going to be talking about Joachim's rise from his career in banking and his career change at a relatively more mature age, let's say. And so welcome, Joachim.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yes.
So number 1, I'm feeling honored.
Thank you for coming.
So just to add, I'm a banker. Investment banking is nothing else for me important. It's a banking world I started back in the 1980s. I'm German and grew up in Frankfurt. So after studies, there were only one way to think about a career was or banking or it was insurance. And I was always more intrigued by dealing rooms and this kind of business than insurance. So my choice was then to work in a bank. When I go to be a banker in Frankfurt, I will be number 14,507.
Just another number.
Because there's so many, because as I said, everybody in Frankfurt was just doing economics and going to banking. Well, I thought you need to add something because I'm certainly good, I may be very good, but I will not be number 1 all the time. So banks are always looking after the number 1 player. So I thought, young, you have to find something else. And so I thought, and this time, language was very important. So English, French, Spanish. And then it came up, go to the finance center, London. But you will laugh, no, I didn't like it. I said, no, I don't do that. I go to Paris.
The romantic city.
Romantic city. So I went to Paris and was looking for a job then in Paris. Keep in mind, it was not the European Union then. It was just France and Germany. So you have to find a place who gives you a job and you can work and can get your national insurance number. But without number, you can't get a job. So I mean, this was a bit tricky, but I got it finally. And I was working then in a Dutch bank. And there, we have to take a little step back again. I was just dealing with, in a dealing room, with the amounts to calculate every time positions for the foreign exchange market. There were no computers. There was just a calculator on the table.
And paper. Gosh.
And you write down, okay, I have so many Deutschmarks, you have so many French francs, and the dealer came up, how many Deutschmarks do I have? Tell me my position in dollars or in pounds and whatever. That was my very first job in the dealing room then in France. Gosh. And all this in French, so not in Germany. In so that was the beginning of my career in the banking world and in the dealing room. And over the years, I always thought, okay, fine, you're now the best in this, now you have to take next steps. So they named it in Paris positionist, so meaning what is it, positions. I became then a dealer on the short-term money market desk, so interest rates. up to 1 month. So it was from Tom next, meaning from 1 day to 30 days, and so on. And I always was growing into it, and I was hungry to learn and to get something new and find the next step. And by 3 or 4 years, I was thinking, okay, fine. Next step would be, then I became a trader in bonds. Then I was trading foreign exchange, futures, and this was the moment when the money kicks in. When you think, oh, it's a nice money, it's good money, but I'm still thinking, careful. It can be something where one deal goes wrong, or 1 year is not your best year, and you are not paid as well, or maybe even sacked. So I thought, let's do and take another study. So I went to study. Bank was paying, so I had a 4-day week plus the weekend then studying. And I did in France and another economic study for another 2.5 years. And then I moved because then I needed to do something else. And I was lucky, I met my wife, and she was Spanish, so I moved to Madrid. And there a smaller dealing room, but with more different products, and again, a great challenge and great execution then in the end. Now the euro is looming. We talk about now end 1990s, beginning of 2000. So you didn't need to have, it was always the same Dutch bank I was working for. You don't need to have any more dealing room in France, in Spain, in Germany, in England. You just maybe 1 or 2. So I moved then, finally, I didn't want to, from Madrid to London. And here I am.
And that's when we met. Yeah.
Exactly, that's when we met. And then I changed a couple of times. And then I was working mainly for American banks. But always on the foreign exchange side. I switched from trading to sales. Because in the end of the day, I'm a salesperson. I'm a bit like you.
Yeah, we're all selling something.
I like to sell. And banking at this time was, especially the sales side, was something I loved. You could talk to your clients in the morning, trying to make a deal, help him in his execution of foreign exchange. I mean, if I could go back to this time, moment in time, it was amazing. It was, you could travel, you could see people, you talk to people, you work with people, you make good money, very good money. And in the end, you go home and you're kind of satisfied. Good day. Today you made money, you made people happy, and you're happy. When it comes now, the time passes, and everything develops further. So you have products like softwares coming up. When you have platforms where you can execute then your trades, and I would say the salesperson, like I was hired at the beginning of the 2000s, at the end of 2000, around 2010, 2012, was not in need anymore.
Right, they didn't need the role really.
The role was now more work on different platforms, try to sell our software. Banks became more a software house than a banking product. It was more like, do we get more hits on our platform than how many did you execute on the phone?
Yeah.
Which is, in my opinion, better, good, because everything done on the phone has a human aspect, and human aspect means normally mistakes.
Yeah, true.
So when you have now a computer from your client talks to your computer in a bank with a platform in between, it's a safe bet. There is no problem building up because the computer knows the position of the client, sends it to execute to the bank, and there's no failure.
Yeah,
no problem.
exactly.
And it can be executed quicker as well because so meaning margins coming down, good for the clients. What I was good at, it was kind of, I mean, I speak 4 languages. I was traveling these countries. I knew the cultures. Some people you should not talk in the morning before 10 because they're not awake, or others you should talk before 10. So and suddenly you come now into a moment when you think your sweet spot. You have 25 years of experience. You speak languages. You know the client. You know where. What to do, and then suddenly, but they don't trade with you anymore. They do this on the platform.
Yeah.
And then you think, hold on, and I need to find another niche for myself. But then as well, our world of internet is picking you up, and everything is, and suddenly, we found a system which we just do, click here, click there, all done. And I'm thinking, hold on, what I am. I mean, you kind of get into your 40s and you have done an amazing job. You've made money. You have a great career. You have done everything. You have a family. I mean, I'm very grateful for that. But then you think, hold on, what is this? You studied, you worked, but suddenly it's obsolete.
So you found that at a certain point in your life, you've done all this work and obviously trained, you're highly qualified, and then all of a sudden, it was almost like the career was pulled out from underneath you.
Yeah, I mean, good point. I mean, I would say more the time and the development in systems and softwares and platforms.
The technology almost made it obsolete.
Had taken literally the job of sales.
Yeah.
Voice sales, they were saying on the phone. This is something I think today you don't have it anymore. Who does it? I mean, as I said, now you can communicate between machines, and you don't need the human between. Where I must say, you don't need to. I mean, I'm fully understand banking now. Why should they hire somebody expensive doing this when they just have a computer, communicate with another computer? There's no need for this. And this is where I thought, hold on, you have worked in this for so many years. You got your experience, you got your everything in there, and then suddenly, it's maybe good to have, but it's not what they're looking for.
Exactly.
And this is when you start thinking, I have to go out of my sweet spot, out of my comfort zone.
Would you just say that's a bit of a low point of your life then, or was it?
Yeah, I would say that's
take it in your stride.
Oh, definitely. It's certainly a moment when you think, hold on, I'm mid-40s, and you thought another 10 years or maybe 15 years. Let it go. Good years, bad years, but suddenly you find out that you are not so important anymore as you were before. When bank hired you 8-10 years before that, and that even sometimes kind of, was it a call to say, tell me you can go?
No, because I can relate to that, because in the tailoring world, I think during the COVID period, literally nobody wanted to talk to you. So no one was getting married, no one was going to events, no one was going to the office. So the business basically just paused for between 1 and 2 years, 1.5 to 2 years. So I can relate to that feeling.
Yes.
And I would say that for me was quite a low point in my life, because it was just, what do I do now? You know, is anyone ever going to wear smart clothes anymore? Is there anyone actually ever going to buy from me ever again? So it's like a really, so I can kind of relate to that feeling, because it was almost like the world had decided that this thing that I've trained most of my life for is now obsolete, and it's totally related to that.
We're talking exactly the same feeling here. So it's it was this moment when you said, fine, you have to do something different, something else. You have to get out of this banking world or this finance world and find something new. Invent yourself new.
So what did you have, like a sort of an aha moment where you just suddenly thought, that's it, I've got it now, what I want to do, what I'm going to do?
I mean this aha moment was when you literally
was that it? Yeah.
That was it. When you think, hold on, I'm literally now somebody, the bank, you worked for a long time in this market, but nobody needs you anymore. This is kind of wow. That's kind of maybe more a wow moment than a aha moment. Yeah. But it's kind of so to say fine. I mean, before that, I said fine. Bank doesn't like you anymore. Find a new job, easy.
Go to another bank.
Go to another bank and do that. But there is no other bank. They have the same systems. They have the same point. So you're literally, you have to reinvent yourself, and that takes time. This is not something you can do after, as I said, 20-25 years in banking. Do this like, okay, fine, tomorrow I'll do this or do that. You can't. You have to just address yourself and thinking, okay, fine. You are still good in what you can do. It is just the environment, the industry is not there anymore where you are. So you have to change industry, you have to change things. I did some consultancy work then after that, which was not bad, but you just mentioned COVID, so COVID kind of killed that one again, because then in consultancy without a big umbrella, with a big consultancy company on as a head, it was kind of very difficult, or let's put it this way, impossible.
Yeah.
But now it comes the good side of it. You say then, what is the positive thing in all this? And the good thing is COVID kept you home, and what you do at home, you can read, you can watch Netflix, you can do things, but you can cook.
And that was
kind of when I thought of cooking, and just for then was kind of, my wife was working, kids were homeschooling on their screens and computers, and I thought, hold on, let's prepare them a nice dish. And I did it already before that. I liked cooking, and this is where then said, fine, concentrate on that one, prepare some dishes. I mean, yes, you find nowadays dishes everywhere, from YouTube to Instagram to whatever. And that's what I did. I just started to prepare something, just playing around, and
then it just took off from there.
And this took off from there. That was then where I said, fine, that's it. I think that's it. Let's say not straight away, but I thought that could be something. I can see future for myself, because I come back to the point, I'm a salesman, so I like to talk to people, I like to communicate, and now to just redefine the skills, to get other skills on board, add to the skills I do have, and I think it's would make a nice new idea and a new future.
Yeah, no, it's incredible, really is. And then I guess just going back to that COVID period, because I found like my definition of success completely changed, because I put my hands up. I came from a very poor background. I was brought up in a very not horrendously impoverished, but my family, my mother always worked, my dad was a teacher, so we never really had money, we never had things. So I think pre-COVID I was always quite obsessed about money, basically, and I was one of those people that I just thought, when I've got this much money, then I'll be happy, or when I've got these things, I'll be happy. When I've got this nice house, when I've got a house with a swimming pool and all this other stuff, I'll eventually, one day, there's this holy grail of happiness, which now I know, and I feel that is a myth. It's marketing. So how would you sort of say you kind of through this journey that you came to define what success is, or what, in other words, what happiness is?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to define success, it's a good point. I would say, I think up to a certain age, it is definitely money. It is definitely something to, let's say, a brutal show off.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was in banking, it was, oh, you're working in a bank. Wow. Oh yeah, here's my business card. Oh yeah, I'm a vice president now. Oh, I'm a senior vice president now. Oh, I'm a managing director.
Like the American Psycho with the business card, and it's got
exactly. That was so important. Sometimes even more important when I got a new job, that the business card was right than the money.
Really? So, it was so important.
Yeah, because, I mean, the money was already good. So, which made it then, the important point was, okay, I don't try to get another £50,000 out of the bank. I just want this business card, this title. This was so important.
The name, the name underneath,
the title underneath your name. And I think this was then, oh, he is successful. He is an MD at this bank. Wow. What it meant in the end was kind of, yeah, you're running a desk of 3 people, but managing director, that sounds great. Or senior vice president isn't better.
And you're working longer and longer hours probably.
On top of that, but that was more this kind of, and then you come up with, oh, I bought a house, I bought a flat. Oh, how many flats do you have? I have one in London, I have one in Madrid. Oh, okay, oh, he is into real estate now. I mean, this is all, yeah, I mean, it comes with age. By the way, I never had a car.
You lived in London.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's when it comes. But then there is a moment when you have your flat, you have even maybe a flat paid off. There's no mortgage anymore on it, and it comes in more where it's more starts to be. You look what you have, what you want, and not what other have, and what can I show them,
right? What
is better. And when you say, fine, I like to travel now a bit more, I like to see this a bit more, I just don't care, sorry, if I have a suit or just a jumper.
Yeah.
That's kind of when.
But it's not for other people now, it's for you. It's for
exactly.
you to feel smart.
Now you
feel good
you
and
think, I'm successful. I've been successful. I'm fine. I have everything what I think I need, and I go for my next goals to feel successful. And it's not anymore like I want to show everybody that I'm great. I just think if they see what I'm doing, they see, oh, he's good.
Yeah.
But I don't need to impose it anymore. I don't need to tell them anymore, oh, you know what, I'm so good. I mean, no. If they think I'm good, then that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy.
And there's a certain element when you get to a certain age, isn't there, of I don't care anymore. I don't care. You know, I am who I am or what I am. Obviously, you want to give a good impression. You want to look smart and feel smart and everything else. And you have a certain way of being, but actually it's more about sort of what's within and your family, I'm guessing, you know, your daughters and everything else. And, but I mean, you've always, ever since I met you, you've always been smart, like you've always been well. I remember your laces that match. You had the colour that matched the tie. Exactly. I mean, that level of attention to detail is phenomenal. Who are your, I've never actually asked you this question, but who are your kind of styling or clothing icons that people you've looked up to in the past?
I must tell you, there is not really anybody, because I was always thinking, I like this idea. Sometimes you gave me this idea. I have to put it in your bag.
Or was it me? Yeah.
And I must say, sometimes it was just because I saw it in the street or on the tube, or when I was in Geneva, get out of the airport, and I saw this. Ooh, I like this. This is where I'm coming from. But I mean, there was one, Karl Lagerfeld. He was in the 1990s in Paris, and I was in Paris. And by chance, I mean by really chance, I crossed sometimes, because I was living in the 16th arrondissement, and he was kind of living there as well, and he was working there. And sometimes in the morning, he was, well, certainly going to his office, whatever. But I met him, and in the first time I thought, must be somebody famous, but I started very early in the morning in the dealing room. We started at 6:30, 7, and he was outside there and walking, and I'm thinking, somebody who walks like that. The one morning I said, when I see him again, I will just ask him. And
he had a certain way of
walking, of dressing. I mean,
Gosh, yeah,
it was kind
style.
of. And today I would see nobody would say anything, but then I would say, "Hold, he looked like he was in his PJ." But no, it was his going to work or whatever. It looks very similar. But then I asked him, and the first time, I mean, as I said, I've met him a couple of times. And he was kind of grumpy, kind of, who are you? What are you? And then I found, step by step, I found out that it's him. And sometimes then we just had literally a morning chat. It was nice and yeah, but it was something really for a couple of weeks. But it's when I thought, I followed him a bit then.
It's a claim to fame, isn't it? Yeah, it's just
that was kind of, nice. Now, did I like his kind of fashion? I'm not sure. But this is the only one I can tell you now.
That's the thing, isn't it? Sometimes you see someone, you can appreciate or you can respect their fashion, but it's not necessarily, I find that a lot, it's not necessarily this kind of thing that you would wear. Like Karl Lagerfeld's a really good example, isn't it? Because he has very distinctive style, but it's not necessarily your thing.
No.
There's quite a number of different examples of that. People like the modern day, like Harry Styles, I respect the fact that he's got his own style and look, and it's all about the big flowing, big shoulders and everything else, and it's all like makes a statement, but it's not necessarily what I would like. But yeah, I think people get lost in it. I would call them like clothing fascists. They just like, oh, I hate that, and that was terrible, and blah blah blah. And it's just like, it's not really fair, because you've got to respect the fact that someone's actually making an effort and they've got their own sense of style. And this goes down to sort of even maybe scruffier people as well, who've got a certain look, or people who are more casual, some very much more casual, like people like Steve Jobs and like Mark Zuckerberg, but they've got that look, and albeit it is very plain and very, in some would say, quite dull, but actually it almost is part of their character and it defines them.
Yes, exactly.
So actually can also respect that as well.
That's exactly what I think. I think there's a reason as well. Though these fashion designer now, they have it much more. It's much more difficult for them now than it was in the past, because now you can be your own fashion designer. I mean, I told you, please do me these shirts.
With the contrasting
exactly, and then with this here.
Yeah.
So when I told you that the first time, this was now 10-something-ish years ago, I saw your face.
Well, that was, so I think at the time that was all new to me.
Yeah. So, but I saw your face and I'm thinking, no, I want it. I like this idea and I want it, and this is ever since my style.
Yeah, and I love that now. I think it's great.
So that was my style. Or when I was ordering suits from you, you want to. Maybe the checkered one bit? Nope, we want one one color.
Only one color.
Color. I can accept it on a jacket,
navy,
casual, but that's it. So, and I always liked my style, how I like to present myself, because in the end of the day, we present ourselves. Coming back to the same thing. So when I feel comfortable what I'm wearing, then my sales pitch is right, and then everything for myself, my self-esteem, everything is perfect. And this is where, as I said, nowadays you have so many, fashion designer on Instagram, on YouTube, or whatever, Facebook. They all tell you what to do, and
but it's sort of like be your own stylist.
Exactly, and I think many people does it now as well. I think. They don't care anymore if this designer said this now. Yeah, fine, okay. And you can even try. I mean, my daughter last year, she said, "Dad, your trousers are awful. You need more baggy trousers, so jeans, baggy jeans." And I said, "Really? Yeah. We go now to one place and we buy your baggy jeans." Okay, so I was wearing baggy jeans, and after 2 months I said to her, "Are you really think that this is a good idea?"
way,
I must admit, working in the kitchen then,
Yeah.
I lost weight and it was baggy,
I
and even
can't see you
baggier.
I can't see you in the baggy jeans. I can't
I can
imagine
show
it.
you. So, and yeah, that's nice. And I said, no, you know what? I feel lost in it. And yeah, so I have these jeans and I wear them for my daughters, and sometimes as well because it's easy to walk the dog and whatever. But it is not my style and will not become my style.
No, never. Phew, thank you. Thank goodness. Just going back to your career now, obviously, like changing career at a certain point in your life, it's a really bold thing to do. I've got massive like respect for you for doing that. Do you have any tips on how to do this for our listeners to like how they, because I think sometimes, and as I said, I had it, obviously the business has come back a lot now, so I'm not thinking about changing career, but you can sort of become a bit down, a bit depressed about,
I think
like you're kind of losing the will to sort of go on in a way sometimes.
Oh yes, I mean this is
certainly have been there. I don't know, you have, but yeah, have you got any tips of people that actually could, how can you redirect your career if technology almost sort of forces you into that position?
I mean, let's start first what I did, because we haven't mentioned that before.
No, we haven't. Yeah.
So after COVID, then I said I have to do something. I get bored at home, and with COVID, I couldn't really go out and so on, and I do have to do something. So I was then cooking, and you see that when you look on YouTube or on other platforms, you say, oh, they do this well, and you do this, and then you see the time, 40 minutes, and 3 hours later you're still doing it, and I think there's something wrong. So I thought, fine, cooking is one thing, being a chef or cook is another. So we're looking here in London for cooking classes, cooking course, whatever. And I did 1 or 2 this kind of day, 1 day or a couple of hours, but it was always normally, in the end, firstly, this was more a social event, a kind of
with friends around.
Yeah, friends, or eat as much as you want, or you can drink as much as you want, or they wanted to sell you the pasta machine at the end. Or sell you something, wine or whatever. So I think, hold on, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm really looking to learn cooking, chef skills. So I did further research, and I came up with Le Cordon Bleu here in London, which has different structures. So you can be chef kitchen, chef patisserie, boulangeries, or bakery, or short-term courses and so on. Then I thought, hold on, this kitchen, this cuisine course, that looks nice. And I went to see them and looked at it. That kind of looks very professional. Looked already very demanding, and I was impressed by all these uniforms over there, I must admit. And
the clothing again.
I said, let's start just the basic course, because normally you have in this is kind of a year you have to study or to work with them in the school. So you have 3 months in the beginning is basic, and I did this, and I said, wow, that was great. And there you learn how to cut an onion, or how to do a stock, fish stock, meat stock, whatever. And it was basic, was very interesting, very good. So let's do the next course. So next intermediary, learn a bit more, and other dishes. It's mainly French cuisine. And once I had done that, I said, listen, now you have done so much, you have invested so much time, and now you go for the diploma. So that was then last year. I said, fine, go for it, which is then demanding, because you are there with young people in their 20s, meaning they are much faster than you are.
But did you have a few wobbles during that? Because did you just all know that? did you sort of see a clear goal and go, right, at this point I'm going to get to here? And then
No, I mean, the goal was to become a cordon bleu chef.
But did you ever think sort of halfway through, actually, maybe this isn't what I want to do, or I'm not sure I'm good enough, or you know?
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly the moment when you see that you are always last plating. I think, hold on, there are 16 with you in the class, and always you are the last. And I think, hold on, when you have done it, it's done. That's it. So you don't need it. But then I always talk to the teaching chef, and he said, listen, no, you're fine, and your plates are so many times much better than the others, because you are already in so much details. The others, they just are time, quick. I did as well quick, but I still wanted to plate a very nice dish, good looking dish, and good taste dish. So for me, that was as well important. The others were just kind of, oh, just put it on and let's go. And so this gave me a bit more confident as well.
So you had some sort of mentorship there.
Oh yes. So
that helped. Yeah.
And once the diploma in my hand, you get this nice medal, and you are a cordon bleu chef. It doesn't mean anything for a kitchen, because you haven't worked then, or haven't worked in a kitchen before then. But you know how to do a bechamel. You know how to do things or not to do, and to cut and not to cut. So that's something. Then I knew, okay, with all the nice plates I've done, dishes I've done in school, that could be something I could do in the future for fun and for business. And then I came up with the idea of private dining. So dining at home.
So this is your the kitchen experience.
New kitchen experience now,
which is very exciting.
Exactly. So that's what I thought. But as well, I thought, fine, you have now this nice badge, and you are a diplomed chef. You can say here, I'm a cordon bleu chef, but you don't have the experience for it. So I thought then summer last year, okay, I have done the diploma. I know how to cook. Now I need to know how it is to work in a restaurant. And so I was going to a couple of restaurants here in London.
So this is really key, isn't it? Because I think a lot of people get to a certain point in their life or career, and this is what struck me, is actually people think that something's beneath them, or they think that they're too good to be doing that, or working in that restaurant, or plating thing, doing stuff. So it was quite, in a way, it's quite self-effacing that you could actually just sort of go, hang on a minute, I don't know about this, don't know too much about this. I'm happy to learn and start very much on the bottom level.
Yes.
But did you ever have challenges there and feel like, a bit insecure, or feel like I shouldn't be here because I'm very advanced in my career, I'm a very successful guy?
I was a nice story on that one. So I saw a couple of head chefs, and so all of them said, yeah, okay, fine, you have a nice diploma, and we saw what you did. I did some trials. You have to do trials when you want to go for a job as a chef. So, and all of them said, yeah, we see that you have good skills, but you have no experience in the kitchen. You don't know what it is to work in the kitchen. And the head chef who took me on board, J.C. Grass from Bob Paprika in the city, he said, we take you because we need chefs, because chefs at the moment are in demand. And I said, listen, fine. And he said, but we can't pay you more than a commis chef, which is kind of lowest level of chefs. I said, fine, I'm just here to learn. I mean, I'm not here for the money.
So you'd get your paycheck and go, okay.
and he said, listen, I take you on board, and I mean, if it works out, it works out. If not, it doesn't. So I would say, when you start a new career, you start not where you have ended the other one. You start again on the bottom.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to say, oh, I'm a fancy chef. I'm not. Okay, I know some good I know some good dishes, but I still don't know how it is to work in the kitchen, to do the service, do prep.
So you just have to suck it up, don't you? And
Exactly. You have
just
to
eat humble pie in a way
exactly,
and say,
and go for and go for it. It was quite funny when he said then after a while, you know, Joe, I had a little of a problem with you in the beginning. I mean, you were amazing. He even promoted me then after 4 months. But he said, you came in here with a nice suit. We all thought you were an investor and not kind of a commie chef. And then my main problem was to hire a person who is older than my dad. And that was
sort of backhanded compliment.
This was a moment when he said, and I did not expect you to succeed, because I knew that Christmas is coming up, and this is the hardest time for a restaurant. And you were working in larder, looking after starters, warm and cold, and you did it, and you smashed it. And then he promoted me. Said, "Listen, I pay you something more. It's still not a lot, but." And yeah, so this was then the next step in my career change. So you ask me now, what would I suggest, or what tips can I give? I would say, find your sweet spot again. Maybe it's not the first one. Don't think, oh, that must be the one. Maybe it is just the one to find the real one, the next one.
A stepping stone.
A stepping stone. Good said. Well said.
That's really good advice.
This is something. Maybe you think, oh, I could. I mean, my stepping stone was more this consultancy business, which was fine. It was still part of my old job, my old world. Consultancy is nothing to do with sales. It's something different. It was not for me.
No, but then you realize that.
And then this cooking and chef business came up. And I think important is take your time. I mean, I think when we had a successful career, then you have a certain amount of money, and then take your time. You have time. Yeah. There is nobody who push you or whatever. Take your time to think about it. Don't think too much.
Maybe try a few different things. Yeah, as much as you can.
Do some courses. Do some
courses. Sure.
Do something where you can say, fine, that's what I'm like to try, and then you will grow into it again. But don't try something to break it and that must be this. That must be this. It's not.
Yeah.
And listen to yourself and not to other people and think, oh, you know what, at your age you should do this or that. No, you should not. You should do what you can do, what you like to do.
Yeah.
And you can become something you really like to do.
Good, very good advice. And the new business. So one final question. So tell us about that. You touched on that a little bit. It's going to be fine dining.
Yes.
At home.
I mean, when
sounds fantastic.
When I thought about chef and restaurants and kitchen, I thought about, do I want to become a chef in a restaurant? Do I want to open my own restaurant? I mean, I could do that as well. And I said, no. I mean, I want to be still my own chef, my own boss. And I want to don't take the risk of a restaurant when you have one evening the restaurant is full, but you can't sell everything because or empty now, or you have filled it up and then nobody comes in, or whatever. I mean, there are so many risks in this world, and as well, I think that the old way of restaurants is dying, is becoming more an experience than just go and sit down and eat. I mean, you can do this certainly in cheaper and fast food restaurants, but not in a restaurant where you enjoy everything. And my idea was that people think I would like to go to a place or do something with my friends or business partner or so on, but it doesn't need to be in a restaurant. Why not bring them to my house? I have a lovely dining room. I have a kitchen. I have even a great wine cellar. Everything is ready. I don't have a chef. What can I do? The only thing what is then missing would be me and the team. We would then come and do this dining experience. I don't like the private dining, it's more by dining experience.
Dining experience, yeah.
And so there would not be, it would not be a catering. There's not a delivery driver or catering service who would come and bring in things and place it and that's it. That would be more somebody. I would come and we would discuss the menu. And you can't find this menu on a web page. It is a menu, tailor-made, bespoke, like
tailor-made
menu for you. Though you have then 6 covers in this evening, and there is only one menu which will be discussed with you. There's not something. Oh, I have done something elsewhere. No, it's just for you, and I will kind of go through this dining experience with you. So at the place, at the house and flat or whatever. I mean, at their place, we would then help you to find. It can be a vegetarian dish, or it can be a nice French rabbit, or just a steak. You choose, you decide.
Literally anything.
Literally everything can be done, as well as the setup of your dining room. Very important. I mean, when you have a proper experience, then you want the everything around on the perfect as well. I would then help you as well to put the dining table together. You don't want IKEA cutlery and maybe the wine glasses you got cheap elsewhere, but it's not a Bordeaux glass because I mean, normally these people they have already these glasses, but I would make sure that this would be right, and we would set up the table together. The wines, if you have the wine cellar, perfect. We can certainly add the wine to the menu to the wine, depend which way around you want to.
Yeah.
And then you have as well the kitchen. We would then set up the kitchen for you, and we would see that, okay, fine, we can prepare some of this menu straight in the kitchen, or we have to do some prep. That's something we would discuss then.
Great.
Over there. And yeah, if there's no wine, we can certainly find the wines as well. And the top notch here is we would get you ingredients, the places you want to. I mean, we have certainly perfect providers, but when you say, listen, there's a butcher over there, we love the meat from the butcher, that's the place we go for. So it will be a bespoke dinner and a bespoke experience at your place, and we would have a chef's team for you. We would then as well explain you each dish, why we have chosen it, what to do, what to expect, and then as well, sometimes it sounds a bit funny, but sometimes, just an example, when you have a piece of meat and there are 3 different sauces, what you normally do, you dip each sauce, and then the sauce, the green sauce is nice, yellow. No, you just go with one piece through all sauces from left to right, and you taste it, and you have the palates which are going, wow, what is this? And I say, yeah, and now you do it from the other side, right to left, and you have again palate playing around. This is something, just an example of how I would then explain how we eat each plate, and a bit of history as well, what is behind there.
Yeah.
And that is kind of what I'm building up right now.
Bespoke eating, isn't it, really? I suppose,
Bespoke eating, exactly. I mean, the fine dining restaurant comes to your place, to your house. So that's kind of, I can say. I have at the moment, to let you know, on Instagram there is
I was going to say, how do they get hold of you?
Kitchen.experience is written K1TCHEN 3 experience. So when you look it up, I think K1TCHEN, I pop up already because this is something.
It's the only one.
See, this is something there already. There you can see, I think, over 110 different dishes I've made already, in school or at home or at the restaurant. And that is something you can have an idea what I could do, but doesn't mean this is hammered in stone. It can be, from number 4, I like the courgette, and then I saw the meat there. We can mix and match and everything. That's not a question about that one. And so that's
perfect.
How I.
Well, I look forward to booking you and enjoying
you.
your culinary delights. Good. Right. Well, thank you so much, Joachim. I really appreciate it, you being here. I forgot to mention we are actually in the Savoy Hotel today. We are very privileged to be here, and hopefully that's been really, really helpful to our listeners. It's obviously really changed my mindset in terms of like what you can achieve at any stage in life. I think Definitely. That whole adage is age is just a number, really, and I think you can achieve whatever you want to at any stage of life. And I really just appreciate your time and appreciate you teaching me as well about how you can improve and how you can change and how you can develop.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for listening, everyone, and please subscribe to the podcast, and I look forward to the next episode and hearing any comments about Joachim's journey. Thank you.
Thank you.